G'day everybody, welcome to Greens and Gains. Come and join me and my mate Lee. I'm a physio, 3-part wizard and golf addict. And Lee is a PGA pro, a rugby league degenerate and an absolute freak on the golf course. Greens and Gains is two blokes having a chat about how to improve your golf game and feel better about yourself. Why don't you come and join the fun?
Well, good morning, everybody. Lee Hunt, Tom de Jersey, and today we've got a special guest on our pod, Clive Mayhew, CEO and founder of Golf AI. Good morning, gents. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Well, hey Lee, I'm well. Hey Clive, thanks for coming on, mate. It is Sunday morning. You've been so very generous with your time. We sent you an email. Lee watched a presentation of yours at the Lakes Golf Club in Sydney and rung me and said, mate, you're never going to believe this. I watched this presentation. AI is going to change golf and change golf rules. Clive, can you tell us a little bit about what Golf AI is doing in and around the golf space?
Sure. Well, actually, it was good because Lee came to a presentation. It was actually being run by the PGA of Australia. And I found it quite interesting, just the fact that the PGA of Australia is doing an education session on AI. That in itself says something about where AI is today. The presentation is actually part of a series I'm doing across the whole of Australia for all of the members of the PGA. And it really is talking about the future in terms of using tools which are AI enabled to help particularly the golf professionals and golf courses just become better in the things they do. So my business, Golf, and it's Lee, you introduced me as Golf AI. It's golf.ai. And the dot is important because that's my domain name, right? So my actual brand is golf.ai. I started doing this about 18 months ago as a bit of a research project, a bit of fun. I'm a golf, just like you guys, I'm a golf addict. I love my golf. And I gave this guy, an AI engineer, a challenge to see if he could put AI and solve golf rules using AI. Now, this is about 18 months ago, and he's a top AI engineer. And he started off doing it, and we got to about 75% accuracy. Now, you two know, and all your listeners know, golf rules is very nuanced in terms of, answering a golf rule. You can ask various different golf rules officials and get different answers. So the golf rules in themselves are quite nuanced. And it's really all about, asking the right question and you'll get the right answer, right? So 18 months ago, we started doing it. Last December, it all changed because last December, AI got to the point where it introduced a concept in machine learning called reasoning. And reasoning is what you have today, where you put an intellectual element on top of it. And our results went from 75% to 95% with that level of AI. Then we knew we had something really pretty good. So I'd registered the domain golf.ai. I started to set up the business, but I was a bit sort of like, well, is this going to be viable? Because we only got to about 75%. Then as soon as I got to 95%, it's like, yes, this is really going to be good. And this can solve the problem that we have as golfers when we play golf on the golf course, that nobody I know knows the golf rules. Absolutely nobody knows them. And suddenly we're going to remove that hurdle and people are going to play golf by the rules and enjoy playing by the rules. So that's really where we started. I'll talk more about what happened since, but that was the history and how the project started, Tom.
You're right when you say, Clive, as I said, I was at that presentation. I was at that presentation at the Lakes. I was actually following you. I was doing a presentation after you about my indoor golf studio, but I was fascinated with the stuff you were talking about. And so I'm 45. Tom thinks I'm archaic and I don't like tech, but I love it. I've got a brain which I find it really interesting, and I'm a solutions-based sort of person. So I was fascinated by the stuff you were talking about, and the one that really stuck with me is the rules, and that how you guys rang all these pro shops about you asked some questions at the pro shop level about a rule. And I think you quoted about, is it 5% got all three questions right? Is that right? Have I got that
Yeah,
right?
we were totally surprised. We did that in conjunction with Golf New South Wales, right? So we did it as a bit of a research project for Golf New South Wales, and we called 20 pro shops across New South Wales, random times. So we didn't choose any specific times, and it was about 5% got it right, and only 3 questions. And what was really interesting is typically there's not a professional in the pro shop, right, who's probably trained on rules.
Yeah.
The people answering the phone in the pro shop were, I could say very relatively junior, but they were just doing their job in the pro shop, right? And it was just astonishing. And these were 3 pretty simple golf rules questions. Obviously, Golf.ai got it 100% right, as you'd expect.
Yeah. Nice.
But it was just, and that just says, I mean, how do we today, when we're on the golf course and we have a golf rules question, how do we actually get an answer, right?
Yeah. So
I still think,
normally, as you said, people give. You're right. Normally, as you said, people ring the golf shop. That's their first port of call, or they'll walk across 2 fairways and speak to the club captain. But I love the fact that people are going to be able to not call the pro shop and call this number you're talking about and get the correct answer.
yeah, I think, to be honest, knowing, the history of my golf, you just ask your mates you're playing with, right? So, you've got,
Oh yeah.
you're in a situation, and, between the 4 of you, you'll make up a golf rule, right? And I'm not being
Mhm.
rude, but we typically just, mate, I
So
did this,
true.
I don't know. And we just end up making up the golf rule, right? And the reason I think golf rules are really important is the handicapping system is all based on a having rules across for everybody, which are the same, right? And if you just, as a group of 4, have your own rules, it's you're scoring around those rules. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's just the way that actually it means that the handicap's not really reflective across everybody, right? Which is what we try to do with handicaps, which makes our game so wonderful. The fact we can turn up and play with anybody at any level because of the handicapping system. So, I have a GM of rules, a guy called David Blake. He runs my rules division, and he says the number one thing that he thinks the AI assistant for rules is going to be really good at is actually keeping people honest to the handicap. And
Oh
that
yeah.
makes the game of golf better. And I think that's I never really thought of it like that. And Blake has been been a rules official, for 15 years. He worked at Golf Australia. He's the head rules official for Live Golf right now. And he's, I never really thought like that, but I think it's pretty true.
I think we've all probably been on a golf trip where you go away and there are guys whose handicaps, they might not play very often. They might have manipulated their handicap for the trip, and people come out and have 40 points, and the guys who play every week have way less than that because you're not supposed to play to your handicap. I love the idea of trying to have those handicaps sit as tight as they can to your actual playing ability and to the rules, because then everybody's on the same playing field. We all have so much more fun. That's fantastic. I love that concept.
Yeah. I think it's definitely it. So, I mean, now we've got now with the tools, you can do that, right? Literally just WhatsApp or telephone, use the website and just ask the question, and ask it in any way you want, because it's good enough now to work it out. So I think it's going to be interesting how it gets adopted.
Absolutely. Now, you said it's going to be good enough now. I reckon when you guys were at 75% before those AI advancements, that's probably better than most playing groups do in terms of answering rules questions. 75% accuracy, not bad. We had a rules official on the podcast a month or 2 ago, and we actually got tripped up on the rules. We didn't know that when preferred lies are in play, you're allowed to change your ball out. Lee, a golf pro and former touring pro, had been playing under a local rule as a pro where you're not allowed to do that. So the golf rules official had said, no, that's actually part of this. And so the very first question we asked Golf.ai on the podcast was, okay, when preferred lies are in play, can I swap my ball out? And you won't believe it. Golf.ai, 100% accurate, nailed it. Chris from Golf.ai, the AI bot, was as good as the Golf Australia rules official. It was unreal.
Absolutely perfect.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Just
Now, you want to talk a little bit about local rules, right? So local rules actually they have in the context of golf rules, they have the leeway to change the rules by about 40%. They're quite considerable if the adoption of local rules, how they change the rules. So if we're going to play by the rules of golf, right, the local rules component of the golf is actually quite important, right? So that's a great example that Lee was playing by local rules, and he thought that local rule was an actual rule of golf, which it wasn't, right? Because he was so accustomed to that local rule from his golf course. So what we've done, which I think adds a bit more of intelligence to it, is we're taking the local rules from every golf course and building that into the experience for the golfer on that golf course. So without local rules, you're only doing 60%, right? So with the local rules in there as well. So when I go to play, I'm a member of the Lakes. It has different local rules, playing Moore Park, right? And like I said, it's quite considerable. So having that element of that built into it is quite important going forward.
so cool. I also love you've got the phone line that you can ring for Golf AI. You also shared with us there's a WhatsApp number you can text. I was playing with somebody who I wasn't sure if they'd done the right thing or not. One of the lovely things about the WhatsApp number was I was on course. I didn't have to, one, pull my phone out and have a conversation with somebody. And two, I could check in on the rule privately and quietly and confirm it was correct before making a big deal of it. And it actually stopped me from, saying, hey, I think that's the wrong thing, because what they were, the way they'd taken relief was correct. So it's lovely to have the choice, and clever, I think, from you guys to have built those two things in. Did you plan the phone line or the WhatsApp first? How did you end up with the two options?
Yeah. So the first thing is getting the AI to work. Okay. So the first thing is
Totally.
the AI. Yeah, the AI intelligence. So what we do is we AI enable many different data sets inside golf. Okay, so golf rules is one.
Uh-huh.
We're going to talk about tee times as another. We're going to talk about personalized tracking, capabilities as well. So we AI enable different data sets, and all we do on top of it is that this is what's wonderful about AI technology is this was what we call a messaging layer on top of AI, and the messaging layer is the WhatsApp, it's the telephone, it's the app, the website, and also SMS, right? So we haven't launched that yet, but we have an SMS thing we're working on. So, you've got WhatsApp if you're a WhatsApp user, but you could just do the same thing just by sending an SMS, and the SMS will reply to you as well. So think about it in terms of, AI going forward is going to be messaging at every single level, right? I think the phone is going to fundamentally change because of AI, how we use the phone. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm a great believer personally, and I think it's, my age maybe, voice. Voice is, from my point of view, is one of the best user interfaces you can possibly have, particularly the AI voice capabilities we have today. So voice is good, but there's a generation, I think they're in the 30s, who were brought up with messaging as kids, and those kids in the 30s, they don't want to use voice, they just want to message and chat, right? So they will message and chat forever because at 14 and 15, that's all they ever did, right? And now
Yeah.
it's interesting, the younger generation now in their early 20s are back to voice because they've been using a lot of voice tagging and a lot of voice communications as well. So we have different generations who use different forms of communication because of how they've been brought up, and we just got to make it accessible to everybody.
I love that. I love that. Now, you just mentioned booking tee times. I know that Lee Hunt's least favorite thing in the whole world is the phone in the pro shop. It rings off the hook. It drives him nuts. Are you telling me that there is an AI solution, one for Lee and two for me, to find tee times without annoying my local pro, or for Lee without having to answer a million phone calls and say, "Hey, we actually allow you to book online"?
Just go to golf.ai. I mean, we already have it, so it's already there. We have it already. So, um, uh,
Stop
so what
it.
we have, I'll tell you what we have right now. So I exaggerate it a little bit. You'll get used to me. But the first bit we have right now is we have what we call tee time search. So we have live tee time
Uh-huh.
search. Okay. So we basically have across 6,000 golf courses around the world, we have literally access to their live tee times. Okay, so you can go and say, for example, we're doing this predominantly for the US market, but in America, you can go say, okay, I want to play Denver next Tuesday. What tee times are available? And it goes out and it searches all of the live tee times, and it comes back and it'll show you, the 8 courses which have the tee times on that date and the times. Okay, what we're doing is, and we're building right now we're building this in Australia too, so it'll work for Lee. Is then once you get that tee time, we integrate to the back end software provider, which in this country everybody knows MyScore and MyClub is the company that runs that platform. And we integrate into there, so literally you can AI enable their tee sheets. So whether you're playing in your private golf course, which has, you use an app at the moment and you book it that way, you'll be able literally to have a conversation that says, I want to play next Saturday, 9 a.m., let's say between 9 and 11 a.m., with 3 other people, what's available, and it'll go out, find you the tee time, and you should be able to book it online via the AI as well.
Now, Clive, that's fantastic. I love this, all right, because as Tommy said, I deal in the pro shop, and it's not so much me answering the phone all the time; it's my staff, because I do a lot of coaching and a lot of club fitting. Is there a way that can happen for me? For example, I get a lot of people ring me directly or text me directly to book a lesson or book a club fitting, and I'm with clients all the time. So I'm getting back to them late in the day. Is there a way we can have AI to book people automatically that way and take them through the options? Is that something that's going to come for us golf coaches?
Yeah, you just divert your phone to the AI number. So
I love
it's
this.
what I said. So it's what I said before about, messaging is a different layer, right? So once we build a capability at the AI level, you got different messaging levels to communicate with it. So you can send it a text message. You can have a telephone conversation with it. You can use the app or the website, so all the messaging layer is independent of it. So it's whatever you use, Lee, or whatever your customers use to communicate with you. You can divert that to the AI to do the things, particularly like bookings and course information and anything you like. Now, Lee, you run a studio, right? You have your own actual studio.
Yeah, so I've got a studio. I'm the head pro at Bankstown, but I've also, because I don't think I'm busy enough, I've got an indoor studio in the Southern Highlands. So I definitely need help.
So the indoor studio is a good one. So how do you do the bookings on your indoor studio? Do you have a little booking system for that you use?
Yeah, we have a booking system, but we still receive a few phone calls, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So again, for you, we integrate into that booking system, and then your customers can be able to call and book for your studio bays as well. So we talk about this being for golf courses. It's actually just as relevant for studios. The last 2 weeks in Sydney, every studio has been packed. I don't know, because it's been pouring down. It's been, I went to the one. There's a great one in Neutral Bay, North Shore studio. Mate of mine, Adrian, runs that. He has 6 bays, and for the last 2 weeks, he's been chock-a-block. And literally, there's queues to try to get into those bays, right? Because everyone wants to go and hit a few balls. And he was sort of saying that, okay, if I have the AI, is it possible also to have a wait list for the people, right? Because he gets quite a lot of cancellations for his studio. And I said, yeah, I mean, a wait list is just another little piece of digital, technology which you can put in there as well. So you can almost be to the point where I want to play next Tuesday. There's no bays. If any cancel, send me a text message, and then I can pick up that bay or that tee time, depending on what you want to do. So yeah,
Stop
I mean
it.
that is so good, so good.
So the number of phone calls that are being taken by golf courses is phenomenal. We typically today, we did some market research on this. 80% of people book travel online. Okay, they don't call travel agents anymore, right? 80%.
Yeah.
Now, that number for golf, I think, is about 40%. Now, ask yourself the question why people still want to call a golf pro shop when they already do when they do that for their travel bookings. I think it's the nature of golf, right? People want to have a little chit chat with a pro shop. I think there's something in that, right? And and that chit chat with a pro shop.
It's got that busy. It's got that busy, Clive, that I've actually employed extra staff now to answer phones. So they're basically like receptionists to answer phones for idle chit chat in the golf shop.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand that behavior of the golfer to try to make this service successful, right? Because if we have this service there and the golfer says, "Mate, I still want to call the pro shop," it's not going to do anything, right? I think, Lee,
Hmm.
what's going to actually happen, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. People like yourself will just no longer give people the option to call the pro shop. They'll just divert their phone to the AI. One, because the AI is so good, it
Yeah.
answers everything they want to do. But secondly, like, I mean, it's a cost of running business, right? I mean, golfers have to
Yeah.
understand that when they chit chat to the pro shop, that's actually costing the pro shop money, right? And as little as that's a nice thing, and I'm not taking away that human element, but I'm just saying that there's just efficiency of businesses. We just can't operate like that going forward, because ultimately you have to put your tee times up to cover those costs, right? So it's sort of like it'll come back and eat you at some point.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. It's not efficient at all. It takes us away from the people in front of us. And the end result is obviously tee times get more expensive.
Yeah. But it would
And
be
how
quite
nice would a
interesting to
cheap tea time be, but with some empathy from AI? Like, Lee, so how'd you play today, mate? I don't mind if the AI asks me how I play and I pay less for my tea time. That sounds like a win-win.
Yeah. So I think it's sort of it'll be interesting, right? So I think we'll put it out there, but I think the way it'll work and the way we get adoption will be people like Lee making it like they'll divert their phone to it, and then within 6 months everybody will
Mm.
have that, and literally everyone then they know they're talking to AI with empathy, as you say, and
Yeah.
when they get to the golf course. By all means, get to the golf course and have a chit chat, no problem whatsoever. But don't have a chit
Yeah.
chat with me about your booking tea time or your course information or all the stuff which is literally it's there and we can do it far more efficiently than anything else.
And then I suppose if that chatbot, if that AI gets implemented in instead of Lee's phone, situations like yesterday where at 4, 5 a.m. people are ringing Lee to ask if the golf course is open doesn't happen. The AI gets updated. It tells you the course is open, closed. All of a sudden, it fields all the calls. Lee can go back to bed. Everybody can get the answer they need early. It sounds like it's a mutually beneficial situation. It's a win-win for golfers and for pro shops, right?
Yeah, and that's an interesting one. So I don't know, Lee, when you told people the course was closed, but my course closed on Friday. The Lakes is the first time it's closed in 12 years, by the way, because it's such a good, it's such a fantastic location in terms of the water going through it. So it's the first time it closed in 12 years,
Yeah.
and they took that decision, I think, literally the day before. Right. And then obviously you have to communicate that. We had a pretty big tournament on. It was a presidents versus captains tournament. So they had to communicate that relatively early to tell people, right? Now, in my world, the greenkeeper can make that decision and you can update everybody in real time, right? So, you know, if for example it'd been a fantastic drying experience overnight and you could open up the course, the greenkeeper can make that decision rather than a day before or sometimes people are making a decision like a week before, um, and people will play more golf. So using real-time technology, which is allows communication like this real time, fundamentally gives a better service offering for everybody.
That's exactly right, Clive. What you just said there about making the decision in the morning, that's something we do at the golf course at Bankstown. Our head superintendent, we make it at 5 a.m. We make the call at 5 a.m. in the morning. And a lot of people give us a hard time about that. Why can't you make it the night before? But, if you say the course is open and then we get a storm that night, it might knock the golf course out. Or, we want to wait until the last possible moment to try to get people on the golf course, not keep them off it. And I think people sort of lose the understanding of why we do that. So, being able to get that out to people at 5:30 in the morning, or having the phone turn on, and all that sort of information would be. And if we could do that with AI,
Oh,
that would
yeah.
be so much better.
Yeah,
Yes, we're still going to get phone calls about, well, how wet is it? Well, it's wet enough to be closed. Well, yeah, but how wet is it? So we're still going to get those things. But
yeah.
when do you think it's going to stop raining, or when do you think we'll get golf carts on, or we've got to be Nostradamus sometimes. So if we can get AI to help us out with that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. And it's also to a point where you could, if you should be able to use it. So, for example, the 50 people that are booked in the morning, they get a text message, right? For example, and they get a text message,
Yeah.
to say, here's the latest update on the course, right? And by the way, this is not just about the course itself; it's about the facilities too. So, for example, like this is a good one, Lee. So, say your head chef is sick and you can't, you literally can't, you haven't got any people to do the cooking that day, right? I mean, it's rare, but it happens, right? And so people turn up and they say, I'm sorry, they don't have all of that information. They'll just turn up expecting to get food and there's no food. That's another example, right? So you can literally communicate like you've never communicated before about all of the facilities, not just the golf course.
Yeah. How cool is that? That's unreal. And you get a better playing experience and a better visiting. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unreal.
And
Now,
I think it's like the golfers will
Clive,
start to use it too. The golfers will start to have the psyche where that adds value for them. If you add value for them, they'll use it.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been having a poke around golf.ai's website over the last couple of days. There's a caddie as well. AI is going to help us play better golf. How is this going to work, mate?
Okay. So you're good. Huh? This is almost like a self-promotion thing. This is fantastic. The caddie is, again, it's where we started from, right? So we started with the AI rules and we started with the AI caddie. So we've been working with the caddie for 12 months. And the caddie is really fun. So I'll just give you a bit of the tech behind it. Um, Everyone uses GPS apps today, right? Even
Yep.
MyScore has the capability where it tells you the distance to the green and the hole. So that's a data set called the GPS data set, which we have for every golf course in the world. So what we've done is we've AI enabled that data set. And basically that data set now will talk to you as you walk around a golf course. So I'm on the
Mm-hmm.
first tee, it'll say, Clive, here's the first tee, there's water to the left, there's a bunker 180 meters on the right. We suggest you take a hybrid for this shot because you hit your hybrid about 165. That's the safest shot for you to play. We know all
Nice.
of your data about how far you hit your golf clubs, each of your golf clubs in your bag. So we can tell you not so much hit 175 meters, but hit this club. We have the live. If you're in a social mode, not competition mode, you can actually draw on the live weather feed we have as well. So we can tell you the wind and the elevation and all the data. And by the way, the reason I say that is that that's illegal if you're playing competitive golf, right? So it breaks one of the rules. So please understand, I'm a
Yes.
rules guy as well as a caddy. So we're giving you caddy tips which are rules are compliant, and having wind and having elevation is actually not rules compliant if you're playing in a competitive game. So it does all that, and it does it in a funny way with some golf tips as you're going around, right? So, Lee, we've mentioned before, we use a voice from Ewan Porter, a mate of yours. Ewan's, he's a commentator. He's got a very trustworthy Australian voice. He's your AI caddy as you walk around, and he's giving you tips as you play too.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get as angry as Ewan on the golf course as he used to get. So the caddy might give you a hard time sometimes. He's a bit beaten up.
Yeah, we've been thinking about actually, it's interesting. We've been thinking about putting different personas on it. So we could have the angry caddy, which I think is a really good idea, right? We have a Scottish caddy
I like that.
who's
I like that.
a Scottish caddy's
absolutely.
fun. But the angry caddy could also there's a bit more sense to it. If you have an angry caddy who gives you aggressive calls, right? So for example, we're at 80 meters out and it's over a bunker. But the angry caddy says, "I go for it, son. Get over that bunker. Don't go to the left. It's boring to do that." So we
Yeah.
have those personas which we haven't done yet, but we're thinking about doing because I think that could make it more fun as well.
I love
I
that.
love that. When
Yeah.
I play golf, particularly with Lee, Lee's really nice to me, and my self talk is not particularly kind. I love to be challenged. And I come from a team sport background where sometimes somebody being a little bit rude to me or asking me to do better, I respond to. Lee's like, oh, it's okay, mate. Next hole will be better. I need a golf.ai caddy who calls me names and challenges me to do more and take it on and man up. I think that'd result in much better golf for me.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's one of those things. If you use it for every shot, right, it gets a bit boring, right? So
Yeah.
having this AI talk to you about every shot in the same way is quite boring. Typically, people are using our AI caddy for only like 4 or 5 shots around in a round. Because
Mm.
they look at the data, they see it's 120 meters, and they don't want to be told breathe slowly, relax, swing from the inside every time, right? So it's like it's one of those things. It's a little bit of a balance between the two, but I think it's useful. The thing that we're actually doing with the caddy, which I think is even more helpful for people like your golf course at Bankstown, is we're connecting the caddy and the golfer to the golf course. So GPS scoring apps are all generic. You can use them across any golf course, but there's no connection to the club facilities or the club, anything, right? So the first thing we have is local rules. So local rules is built into the caddy experience. So we know exactly from a local rules perspective. But secondly, F&B facilities of the golf course. So say you get to the 17th hole, and you're using the AI caddy, Bankstown can say, actually, Clive, do you know, right now we have a special promotion on 2-for-1 beers in the clubhouse afterwards, right?
Stop
We
it.
have 2 Callaway Jaw wedges, which we've had for a while, and they're on sale now at 30% off. Pop into the pro shop and have a look at them when you finish your game. If you want to be really rude, you can say, you've not been driving well today, because we know that too, right? You've not
Oh,
been driving well today.
no.
You've been pushing them out to the right. Maybe that's because your driver's 4 years old. Why don't you buy the latest driver, which is in the pro shop right now? So, we can actually connect data
Yeah.
sets like the point of sale system for the golf courses directly live into the caddy experience and connect the golfer on the golf course to the actual golf course. And I think that's a very valuable thing for the golf courses, because literally people turn up at a golf course and they don't spend enough time in the pro shop. They don't, go and have a beer afterwards, because they don't, they think it's maybe too expensive. There's lots of different reasons, and you can sort of really communicate stuff better, I think, real time with the golfers on the actual course.
My worst nightmare is stepping off 18 and my caddy saying to me, Tom, you've lost 5 strokes again off the tee. Perhaps it's time to go and see Lee for a lesson. I love this idea. That's fantastic.
And then it says to you, oh, by the way, do you want to book the lesson right now? Even better.
Yes.
So it'll actually,
Yes.
so it's even better because yeah, go on, Lee.
It'd be great if the AI caddy, you walk off the tee and it says, Tom, you got a free space next Tuesday at 12 o'clock. I've booked you a lesson with Lee.
Yeah, and I tell you, because mate, you need it. You need it.
Angry caddy, because you're bloody hopeless.
Yeah, in a Scottish accent, you desperately need this.
You desperately need it.
Clive, this is all hitting a little bit too close to home. Absolutely. This is all hitting way too close to home. Through 6 holes Saturday week ago, I received an email from Lee that my Tuesday lesson had been booked in. I was playing so poorly. So this is Lee's already doing it. The machine can just do it for him. I love
it's got to happen.
Okay. Now, you touched on before a little bit about the future and where AI and golf and golf.ai might be heading. Can you give us a little bit of insight into what might be coming and what things might be looking like? What do the next 2 to 5 years look like for you guys?
Yeah, so I don't think anyone can say anything at 5-year horizon anymore with the technologies changing so quickly, but I think you can have a pretty good view in the next 2 years. So I think the next 2 years is we're just going to see mass adoption of AI. So people, are already using it, like you're using it, in your business world. You're using it for your marketing. You're using it to do a lot of the stuff we used to write before is now being done for us by AI. So in the business community, people are using it pretty much every day. people are not using it yet in their sports. So obviously, Golf AI is we're leading that in the golf space, but people are going to start using it for everything, and I think that when you start to use it for everything, there's a level of trust. It's a bit like, I was around in the early days of the internet, and people would sort of say, "Oh, I'll never do that. I'll never do that," and they did, right? And I think this is what's going to happen with AI. We're just going to have a level of adoption by everybody, and also, as I said to you before about the messaging component of this, it's, people are going to communicate with AI via voice, via text
Yep.
messages, via WhatsApp, and it's just going to be integrated into the daily way that we do things. So if you think about that world where if the majority of the things you do are done via AI, well, will you go and visit a website? Will you use an app where you have to do that yourself? Okay. I
No.
suspect not. I suspect not, right? So what's going to happen, and this is a vision I think that there's being, that everyone in the AI world is actually working towards. Websites will slowly disappear as from a front end perspective of how people communicate with businesses. So what will happen is websites will become the repository or the data center of the information. So let me give you the golf course example before we talked about for the local rules, right? People are not going to go to your website for local rules. They're going to use AI. But the golf course itself, like the superintendent's going to have to put local rules in somewhere into a data set, which then the AI can access. So websites change
Hmm.
from being public facing to being the place where you put your data to communicate with your customers. And there's basically, you don't need to ever have a UX for a website. It's just put the data there so that the AI can read that data and communicate that data to your customers. So that's a pretty big change in how we do things today, right? So most businesses,
Hmm.
well, every business is all geared around, the creating a website so you can communicate their services to their customers, and that's fundamentally going to change. It's going to change in a way that people really have to start thinking about and planning towards.
Absolutely. Okay. I have a question for you around golf coaching, and I'm going to try not to upset Lee here. I am in the process of applying to undergo a master's by research in, I'm a physio by trade, but in exercise and sports science, particularly around skill acquisition, motor learning, that sort of stuff with UTS. I know they are currently working on, with a science company, the start of AI analytics for golf swing and golf coaching. Where do you reckon that gets us to? Do you see a world where AI is your golf coach, where it competes with humans? And do you see the role of the golf professional changing as AI gets better at doing that? What do you reckon?
I think it's already there, right? So there's already
Yeah.
swing analysis videos. There's already kids are being when they go to one of these studios already understand the data of golf, right? So they're looking at TrackMan, they're looking at the data, they're understanding that. Um, so it's all about using that and communicating that and being more effective with your students, right? So I think that I honestly don't think the professionals will lose out, but they have to use these tools when they coach. So they have to show that that
Mm.
they can give the tool to the golfer to use when they want to use it, but come back to me for the next level of instruction behind that. Now, will the AI be good enough for that instruction? Yes, it will. I'm not being rude. It will. And will it get better? Yes, it will. Does it threaten it and take it all away? I think possibly, but it's about the human connection and making it enjoyable and fun and not robotic. Like the AI will always be a little bit robotic, and it'll always be about the data, and it'll always be very all about that. So I think that coaches have to use the tools, understand the data, and stay as close as possible at a human level to people they coach, because that's their point of differentiation, I think, going forward.
It's a good point, Clive, you make. Like I'm using AI already, so I embrace it as a PGA professional, as a golf coach. I use it with TrackMan. I use it with Coach Now, with a lot of other things. I think it's a really good way of sharing information and helping communicate what we're trying to achieve. And I think you're right. I think for those golf coaches that don't adopt it, I think they'll disappear because people expect it now. Like people used to expect video. Like people now expect to have a TrackMan or a launch monitor. I think if you don't adapt and use this sort of stuff, I think you're going to find yourself out of touch, and people are going to just stop coming.
So, Tommy, did you look at our AI podcasting?
No,
Are
no,
you
I
replacing
haven't.
me?
But I've seen some of the
so-
video stuff that your AI is putting
Right.
out, and it is unbelievable.
Yeah. So go on golf.ai. We have a daily podcast. Okay. It's called Today in Golf. And it's a summary of everything that's going on in golf worldwide, all the pro tours, all the gossip, everything, all AI generated every day. And so I giggle a bit because you talk about Paul Lee here, getting threatened by AI. How about podcasting? Because I just had a little bit of fun of it.
See you later, Tommy.
Podcasting,
It's been real. It's been real.
Tommy, if you give me your voice, okay, if I record your voice, and by the way, you have a wonderful voice. It's soft, it's lovely. You give me your voice,
Thank
I
you.
could probably make a podcast like this, but with a lot more data than you've ever had access to. So what's going to happen with podcasting? You will never ever in AI replace this human element of what we're doing right now, right? Which makes it so much fun and enjoyable. But it will go deeper around, in sports in particular, around data specific stuff, which some consumers want to have, right? Not everybody, but some people like that stuff.
So you mean I don't have to wake up on a Sunday morning and do this anymore, Clive? Is that what you're saying? That'd be great.
No, I could do this for Tommy every Sunday morning. I could just run a little algorithm for him and produce it, right? And then we can have a virtual Lee and a virtual Clive just chatting to him just for the fun of it. Mate, it's actually not that far away, so it's going to be, that's what's going to happen.
That's crazy.
We could be playing golf. I'm a member at New South Wales, Clive. I could take you to the really good golf course on the coast near your golf course, and we can have a game of golf, and Tommy could do the podcast. That'd be great.
Anytime you like, invite me to New South Wales. I'll be there.
Beautiful. I can't wait.
I love that for you too. I'm just sick enough that I would probably stay home and record a podcast with your two AI avatars. That is the way this is going, and the future and where AI is taking us is just wildly interesting. Mind blowing, just mind blowing. And this is the tip of the iceberg, right? Because it's kicking off. The boom is kind of happening at the moment. Like you said, we don't know where we're going to be in 5 years. If we're going to be at podcasts and golf coaching in 2 years, 5 years is going to look wildly different to where we're at right now. That is unreal.
Yeah, it is.
I love that so much. Now, my last question for you, Clive. You mentioned before the AI caddie. I'm just quickly confirming that if I go and use that this week, I'm allowed to use that. I could ask the golf.ai rules line this as well. We're allowed to use the caddie in competition golf, yeah?
So there's a setting you have to set. So there's a setting as you went for, you do, which is either social mode or competition mode. So just understand the rules of golf, that when you're playing competition, you can't use artificial wind assistance rules. You can't use that in according to the rules of golf. So everyone does. So you know one of those things. However, we make it incredibly easy. If you put it into social mode, you can use it in a competitive round. Okay, so that's just understand you can do that. If you use, if you put it in, so just understand that.
My follow-up question to that, right? I am a notorious poor decision maker on the golf course. I love to hit dumb shots. Lee has been saying to me for months, probably about a year now, he wants to come out and caddy for 9 holes for me, right? Here's my question. Golf.ai caddy versus Lee Hunt PGA Pro caddy. 9 holes. 1, are you a gambling man? 2, who do I shoot the lowest score with? The aggressive Golf.ai Scottish caddy or Lee Hunt being nice to me? What do you reckon?
I think Lee's experience will come through. So I think, to be honest, is that the experience of a
Great
real
answer,
caddy.
Clive. Great
Man,
answer.
Yeah,
Clive,
so-
you really
yeah.
want to play at New South, huh?
I think okay, but I'll tell you, I'll make it. I'll be a bit ruthless. In 2
I
years'
love it.
time, we'll kill it. Our caddy will kill every other caddy because we learn every single time. Every shot that person takes on the golf course, we memorize that shot and we'll use that next time he uses the caddy. So at this point in time, Lee has got the experience. Lee would never have that level of data that I will have for that player and understand that player's capabilities, on a golf course versus what I'll have. So
Yeah.
I think 2 years' time I'll win, but at this point in time I reckon Lee'd be there just right now. I reckon, but still.
I reckon
Okay.
as soon as AI figures out how to carry the golf bag and fill in the divot, I think you've got me.
Yeah.
Okay, one more actually while we're here, Clive. If you
Yeah.
take Ted Scott's job and you get on Scottie Scheffler's bag, do you want 10% as a caddy? Like, how does that work?
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? Wow. That's better than $20 a month.
Yeah.
It's better than a premium subscription. I'll say that. I'll put it at a serious level. We are actually in discussions of having our AI rules assistant as part of golf professional tours.
Oh, wow.
Now, whether we could
Nice.
get our AI caddy as a part of the tour, I'm not too sure, but let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure it's like, there's no reason why a caddy couldn't be. I've never thought about that, but there's no reason why our caddy couldn't be used on a golf course as long as it complies to the rules.
Well, you heard it here first. It was my idea. You take 10%. I'll take 1% of your 10%, and we'll all just go play golf all day. That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I wonder if you signed a professional golfer to use your caddy, would you pay them or would they pay you? I wonder how that would work. Fascinating. You guys have got some big decisions to make. That's awesome.
A good place to be, I reckon that was.
Oh man, it sounds like Golf.ai has a super exciting future. I think Lee and I might take the caddy out for a spin I'm going to take the caddy with me. I'm off to Europe in a couple of days. I'm going to come back with some data and then we might put Lee up against the caddy for 9 holes. 9 holes Golf.ai caddy, 9 holes Lee Hunt. Let's see where we're at. Let's see what the difference is like. I reckon it'll be good fun.
We have some data points already. So where people have never played a golf course before, this is the criteria.
Yeah.
If you've never played a golf course before, for the average golfer, an average golfer plays a handicap, I think, of 15. If you're playing a handicap of 50, we can save you 6 shots around. So we already have those data points and that's just, that's to think about it. It's like, that's because you haven't seen that course before, right? So
I believe that. I
Yeah,
believe
totally.
Yeah.
So, mate, Tom,
And then,
give it a try and see if it happens. You won't know if you saved the shots, by the way, because you won't be able to know that. But you'll know if it helps you on certain, particularly if you're a dirty golfer and you can't make decisions. This actually might help you quite a lot, I think.
This could be the silver bullet.
For such a smart guy, Clive, Tommy's not very smart golfer. Let me tell you, he's the dumbest, smartest guy I know on the golf course.
Honestly, it's like I use my brain power at work. I get out on the golf course. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we're all the same. It's the nature of the game, isn't it?
Emotions get in the road. Yeah.
It just tempts you. Clive, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for your time and your enthusiasm and your energy. It's been so lovely to talk about golf and where golf.ai might be heading and what it can provide. We will put your number for the ring-in phone line and for the WhatsApp up in our show notes. We'll also get the information about how to find golf.ai and the caddy and all that. I know there's a website, but we'll spell it all out for everybody. It's been a blast. Thanks, mate. We so appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've enjoyed it. Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Clive.
Cheers, Lee. See you at New South Wales, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
We'll find a time.
Very good. Very good.